Are there any specific spiritual practices, like, or maybe not the specifics, but vaguely, do you know what practices they do? Because I had heard, like, I've seen some documentary or something, they say that when they go to the last, to the death, right, the deaths are not like normal folks, right? They're not random, they know. So then they either go into some samadhi state and then they will leave.
Yeah,
Or some things will happen over there. So are there some processes that are happening?
yeah. So, because in the Vajrayana tradition, actually, because our body is associated with the 5 element, you know, so external 5 element we have heat, cold, you know, and the earth, you know, earth, water, then the fire or sun,
Air.
and air, and the space, 5 element.
Yeah.
The internal 5 element we have you know, our flesh is the earth element,
Okay.
and our urine, our blood circulation is the water element, and our heatness is the fire element, and our breathing is the air element, and we have 9 holes, 9 pores, and there's thousands of stomata, the pores in our body. There's a space element actually. So external element and internal, these 5 elements are interconnected with each other. So our body is created or made in that way. So our death process, when we have a death process, so our death process also go in that way. So our, you know, our earth element dissolved to the water element dissolved to the, you know, then the fire element to the air element, then air element to the space element. So see, when we're aging, so we cannot hear properly, we cannot see properly. That is the dissolving process of the earth element actually. Then after that, you know, after that, when we eat, we have a lots of, you know, it's not the spit. What is when we have aging? It comes from here. It goes like a children, like a watering. It comes from water.
Yeah, and even urination, you have no control and all
So,
such things.
This is
It's
the
a water
this is the water element is something going something wrong, you know.
Yeah.
So showing the process and then when these steps goes step by step, then at the end, when our air element dissolves to the space element, you know, then when it dissolves to the space element, then we have a problem with the breathing, you know.
Okay.
You know, we have lots of problem. We have lots of problem about the breathing. So this is the process of the dying actually. So, but there's a many practice while death. What kind of preparation we have to prepare when we are young? You know, we have to practice on it. We have to meditate on it, because when we breathe out and breathe in, so actually breathe out is the sign of dying actually, and breathe in is the sign of living actually. So dying and living is the interconnection actually. So the practitioner, if living so happy, then dying unhappy. Why? Because these two things are interrelated each other. So why one have a so happiness mood and one has a sadness and unhappiness mood? Why need? Because I need happiness mood is the desired attachment. I don't want the unhappiness mood is we are rejecting. So one is pulling, one is pushing. So this is the not the right way of cyclic life of cycle. So they want to see in balance.
Yeah.
So that's why they practice about the death, you know. So then when the process of death coming, so what kind of motivations, what kind of thought, what kind of meditation, what kind of visualizations need that time. Even they are going the death process, but they are meditating, you know, they are meditating. But we the normal people, we shocked we will have lots of fear. Please save me. Please protect me. I don't want to die. I have these things. I have that things. I have that things. These things. So this mental situation, you know, in took over my life into bad situation. So because that time, if we have our mind is associated with the anger and desire attachment, and that imprint gets to go together. But instead of that, love and compassion and practice and samadhi, something, and the meditation process is there, then our mental, mental thought or the reflections should be here, some deity here. So because during the death process, our aspirations, our breathing can be go from any part of the nine holes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Then if from the mouth, then it is something, mouth is some with something open or something, from the eyes and something from the nose anyway. So, and lower part of our physical body, we have urinary system. So if our mind, aspirations goes in that way, then this is not a good sign for the rebirth. So what we have to practice, we have to try to depart our conscious from here, actually, from here. So, and most best part is from here. So then the practitioner, they practice the Phowa. Phowa means the transformation, transforming practice. So they visualize, they practice as the Phowa from here, when they practice. Then when the death comes, it means some practitioner, when the death comes, they smile. All these students are crying and these things, but the guru is saying, okay, my death is coming, and I'm inviting in a new, fresh life, not aging, not this sickness body, but I'm inviting new, fresh life. You have to be happy. Why you are crying?
Yes.
The practitioners say in that way. But we, the ordinary people, please get to the hospital right now. I don't want to die. But the practitioner doesn't say in that way. So, and the medical way, if this, death, so if there's no any sense, then they declare as a death. But in Vajrayana Buddhism, so at least body can be at least remain for 3 days. Because why? What we can see, what we can hear, what we can feel, what we can touch, what we have a feeling, that kind of sensations is not there. That's the death, actually external part of death. But the subtle level of mental conscious, the practitioner, even meditating internal secret part of meditation, which is very subtle.
Yes.
So he or she is still meditating there. Because of that meditating, his or her body, maybe 3 days, 4 days also, smiling.
It doesn't rot.
And for a few days also, it keeps warm.
Yes.
Because of the internal practice is going on there. Then, even in some days die this way, some the meditation form, whatever. But this, and because of that practice, and before that, if we just cremation, we do like this, it is the same as we kill the, we kill the some person, something, because internally alive something. Then after left the meditation or something, then it was like this or it like this. Then, yes, this is the process of the death process. So the real purpose in Buddhism is at least not to have any fear during the death process. That's the first step of the Buddhist practice, actually. It doesn't mean that I have this quality, but this is how the process is there.
It's very interesting because so part of this is like local culturally known. Like for example, we always talk about the Antim Gati, the going in the last moment is extremely important. That you go well when you're dead. And also, like the local, like my mother, for example, I remember when my uncle had passed away, you could see from where he had passed away. You know, from his face, I think his eyes were open. So he was like, he passed from the eyes, which is good. And I didn't understand anything. I was very small. I don't know what are you talking, because but so some of this knowledge is there in the culture, at least Indian culture. I'm sure Nepal and Buddhist also culture. But from there, of course, I guess to be able to, when you do a lot of practices and you are strongly on your spiritual path, you can actually just ensure that your passing is good, is actually good. And I think a lot of what the gurus say is that you ensure each and every moment of your life you are a certain way. So that moment of death also you are the same way, and thus you will have a good passing because you are already always in that state. That seems to be the thing. But however, it is still really interesting, right? Because this knowledge is still available even in Indian culture and Tibetan, Nepal, everywhere. But no other tradition has started this tulku system, which is, as you were saying, it is so interesting. And as you mentioned, that the whole tulku system is what led to a lot of preservation and a lot of longevity of that religion and culture and spiritual tradition. That is very interesting.
Yeah. And so sometimes in Buddhist philosophy, it says our body is like a guest. Sorry, our body is like a guest house. Okay? My body is like a guest house. My conscious, my mind is like a guest. Okay? For example, you travel all over the world and you are changing lots of the guest house. One guest house, second guest house, third guest house, fourth guest house, five guest
changing.
and finally you are at Nama Buddha's guest house, monastery's guest house. So, and you left all the guest house, but you are in the form of another guest house. So, you are inside this Thanggu monastery's guest house. You are inside the Thanggu monastery's guest house. So, what you left, many guest house, is your death body. Okay? Your death body.
Many bodies.
And the second guest house is your second life, and third guest house is third life. Finally, you are at Nama Buddha's Thanggu guest house, and Thanggu guest house, you are inside the Thanggu guest house, and Thanggu guest house is your present body. Okay? Thanggu guest house is your present body, and you are inside the guest house, that's your present mind or the present conscious. So similarly, you don't have any worry, you left many guest house, you don't have any worry. But you are now in the new guest house, in new places, with having your same motivation, with having your same mental factor. And you are in another guest house. Something like that. We left many guest house, but right now you are in another guest house in new places. Similarly, we leave our many body, death body, that's like the guest house. And
same leading,
and same leading in that way, then finally we can have one birth and one body and with the conscious, and that body is the new guest house, and new guest house has a that conscious, something. So we don't need to no worry about leave behind our guest house. So similarly, the practitioner think that to leave this body, so thinks in that way, and inviting new guest house.
Right. Yeah.